Tonight, a 10 Investigates exclusive. A grieving mother, raw with emotions, is demanding answers. It's a new piece of the story we first told you about 2 weeks ago, involving a man who's being investigated by the BCI for storing dead bodies inside of a building in Columbus. Now, this mother claims she was lied to and taken advantage of during her darkest hour. Our Andrew Kinsey is following this investigation.
I was not supposed to make my son 35. I was not. And I miss him so much.
The heartache and pain felt by Charlotte Weatherspoon has become a daily occurrence since the death of her son.
The day my son died, my heart changed, and it's raw. It's raw.
Charles died in December of 2019 from a rare and undetected aorta disorder. He managed to fight through 2 strokes and an 8-hour surgery, but the damage caused to his brain proved to be too much.
I had plans to bring him home, and he just did not make it. He didn't make it.
The 35-year-old's unexpected death caught his family by surprise, especially since he had no major underlying health conditions.
Not the win out of the whole family. It was a wrecking ball. Chuck was a funny guy. He loved to make people laugh. He was always willing to help anybody.
In an instant, his grief-stricken family was left with a void, now forced to plan a funeral.
And then I linked up with Lucifer, the funeral director.
With no life insurance and limited cash to carry out Charles' wishes of being cremated, someone referred his family to Shantae Harden.
He presented himself to me as a funeral director. He did not say, I am a concierge, I cut hair, faces, do makeup. No, he said he was a funeral director. He had his own business.
The business? Celebration of Life Memorial Chapels, offering deeply discounted services with traditional cremations and burials ranging in price from $2,000 to $3,000. With hopes of carrying out her only son's final request, Weatherspoon signed this contract with Harden, totaling $2,050.
He lied from the beginning. From the time it took him to pick him up from the hospital, he harassed me about calling the doctor to get him to release the body. He gets the body. It takes him 2 weeks before he can get him prepared. He played the wrong music. My programs were messed up. It took him almost 30 days to get my ashes back. It was a disaster.
A botched funeral followed by big questions nearly 2 years later after Columbus police got tipped off to 2 bodies inside this vacant hair salon off Livingston Avenue, sparking an investigation involving the same man who handled Charles Weatherspoon's body, Shantae Harden. Harden talked only to 10 TV News after news of this investigation broke.
They're trying to target me. I become a target because of my race, because of the knowledge that I have, because of my experience.
Harden admitted to storing the embalmed bodies inside the building.
I become a direct target of the Ohio Board of Embalmers and the funeral establishment, and they're using BCI and the Ohio Attorney General to continue to be a pit bull and work against me.
BCI tells us this investigation is ongoing, but won't say how long they've been looking into him. The Ohio Department of Funeral Directors and Embalmers says Harden has never been licensed as a funeral director in the state. He claims that's not the type of business he's operating.
That's not what we do. We are a mortuary support services where we help other funeral homes.
We found that same explanation in fine print inside Harden's services guide.
Did he ever say the words that I am a funeral director?
I am a funeral director. I am a funeral director, because if not, I just handed my son to the bum standing outside of the damn hospital.
Weatherspoon says she hasn't had a chance to process her grief due to questions now swirling in her head about who she trusted during her darkest hour.
It has devastated me. Losing my son was enough. This is too much. Nobody said this followed losing your son. I would have took him outside and buried him in the garden, and to give him. Who did I give him to? Who did I give him to? I gave him to a stranger. I don't even know if those are my ashes of my son.
Weatherspoon now questions whether the ashes dropped off at her doorstep at 1 in the morning are actually those of her son.
The cremation people say their record says it's his. There's a tag missing on there that should be on there, and it's not. How do I know that them are my ashes? I need my ashes tested. Somebody has to explain to me how this happens, and it's just to be scooped under the rug.
Weatherspoon says it's time for lawmakers to make changes.
I find it hard to believe that you can move around and deal with people's loved ones and bodies with no credentials.
She says better oversight and stricter penalties on those allowed to transport and handle the dead is overdue to ensure other families aren't taken advantage of like she was. Reporting in Columbus, Andrew Kinsey, 10 TV News.
Well, Hardin is not charged with any crimes. His attorney tells us he cannot comment on Weatherspoon's claims. Weatherspoon says she regrets not having life insurance for her son and not researching Hardin before signing a contract with him. We reached out to the third-party funeral home that cremated her son, and it confirms records the family has which show the remains in the urn are correct. They plan to send out a replacement tag and say they have since stopped working with Shante Hardin.